Hello, and welcome to another episode of Real Review, where I will be reviewing in this episode my favorite TV series, Supernatural. And in this episode, I promise there won't be any chick flick moments. Hello, this series stars Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester and Jared Padalecki as Sam Winchester. And Sam and Dean are two brothers who are pursuing demons and, like werewolves, vampires, Wendigos, ghosts across the country. Now, in series one, this is where we're introduced to the boys and their basic hunts. They're hunters, right? And anyway, there's an introduction to the series, and the series goes for 15 seasons, which was quite an impressive run. But anyway, here's the kind of first scenes of the entire series in season one, episode one, the pilot episode.
Come on, let's say goodnight to your brother.
Night, Sam.
Good night, love.
Hey, Dean.
Daddy!
Hey, buddy. Oh. So what do you think? You think Sammy's ready to toss around a football yet?
No, Daddy.
No.
You got him.
I got him. Sweet dreams, Sam.
So as you can see there, that was Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I'm sure he'd done acting before this series, but this series really put him on the map, and he went on to have quite a good career after this series. I think he was in at least 2 seasons, if not the entire first season. So yeah, he's one of my favorite actors.
John. John, is he hungry? Okay.
It's a little bit boring. I know we'll fast forward it.
Okay.
Take your brother outside as fast as you can.
We don't really need to watch any more of that. So that image is used quite a bit in the entire series. There was a demon inside Sam's room who was dripping demon blood into Sam's mouth to make him into one of the devil's or Lucifer's kind of chosen children. And as we'll find out later on in this episode and in the series. What he was doing that for. The demon's name was Alistair, who is the yellow-eyed demon. Most demons have black or red eyes, but he was the only one with the yellow eyes. And that brings up my first question. So I was wondering, who is your favorite villain? So just write that in the comments to the side. So in terms of actually Sam and Dean Winchester, there are people who are fans of either Sam or Dean. I must admit that Dean is a man after my own heart, and I much prefer Jensen Ackles as an actor than Jared Padalecki. Don't get me wrong, Jared Padalecki does a good job in this series, but Jensen Ackles has gone on to do other projects after this film or this TV series, which I prefer, like The Boys, where he played a soldier boy, which I thought was a terrific performance. As I was saying that before, there was that, where I said there's no chick flick moments. This is where that comes from. So it's one of fast forward to where he says it.
All right, why don't you see if you can find an address? I'm gonna get cleaned up.
Hey, Dean. What I said earlier about Mom and Dad, I'm sorry.
No chick flick moments.
All right.
I love that bit. So as I was saying, I'm a Dean fan. So that's my next question. Are you a Sam or Dean fan? So as I said, there's quite a few. The series goes for 15 seasons, which is phenomenal. Like to even get most series don't even get past the second season, because if you don't get numbers by the second season, they will cancel you. Sometimes they will cancel you in the first season, but usually if you don't have the numbers to continue on after the second season, and then they review it again at the end of the fourth season. And a lot of TV series go for 6 or 8, but for 15, and to have a solid kind of following, that is fantastic. I must admit that I've only ever seen the first 11 seasons, because after season 11, it got a little bit woke for me. I haven't seen any of the episodes, but I can tell from watching clips and stuff about it. It really wasn't my thing, because at the end of season 15, Castiel says that he's in love with Dean. So he has homosexual feelings for Dean. And as we've always pointed, as they always pointed out in the series, that angels cannot have feelings. Now, I know that Dean Winchester had sexual relationships with an angel in, I believe it was season 4 or 5, but she was a fallen angel. So when he had a relationship with her, she was not an angel. And I know Gabriel, the angel, had a relationship with one of the pagan gods, but he never said he had any feelings for her, if he had, physical feelings, because they were inhabiting actual people. So I guess they could, have sex when they were inhabiting those people, but they were never angels and never meant to have any feelings. And they don't even have reproductive organs, because I'll show you. This is an actual picture of an angel. So this is what angels actually look like, as explained in the Bible. So they do have wings, but they have no physical body. Zachariah, even in one of the episodes, the actor playing Zachariah describes himself in heaven, and so does Castiel, who we will talk about later. and he says he has three faces, and one of them is the face of a lion. Now there is one particular. I'm not sure if it is Zechariah that's described in the Bible this way, but one of the angels in heaven does have three faces, and one of them happens to be a lion. I think the other one's the face of a man. I can't remember the third face. Anyway, so that's what I was talking about. So as I said, season 1 was an introduction to the characters, and I have to and I would have to say that you really only have to watch until the end of season 11, because it climaxes with God versus Amara. I'm getting ahead of myself, but what better way to finish a season with God versus Amara? Amara is his sister, who is the darkness. I don't know if that's canon or law in the Bible, but you have the ultimate showdown between probably the two most powerful entities in the universe. There's no need to continue it on after that, but they tried to milk it for all of its worth, and it slowly faded and dwindled off into obscurity. So you can't just change the law or the canon to suit your the agenda that you're trying to push, because people will reject that, as we have been seeing in America with Bud Light and Target. So anyway, so as I said, I think as the seasons go on, I think season 4 is the pinnacle season for me, because this is when the angels were introduced, and I'll just show you a clip of where the angels first come into. It's actually season 4, episode 1, and this is where we first meet the angels, and this is where things start to really heat up.
That much. I mean, what are you?
I'm an angel of the Lord.
So each different season has a theme, and the introductions to each episode and each different season. So there's a theme that runs throughout each season. So in season 4, at the beginning, there's always wings that are flapping, and I think in season 5 there's blood, and anyway, so on and so forth. But my favorite season is season 4, because this is where the whole biblical fight between good and evil, and Sam and Dean are actually the vessels for Michael and Lucifer. Now, if you know the canon of the Bible, Michael was the right hand of God, and he basically was the one who threw Lucifer out of heaven. So Lucifer is an angel, but he's a fallen angel, and he is obviously referred to many different names, the devil, Beelzebub, but Lucifer was his original name. And the actor playing Lucifer, or several actors play Lucifer throughout the series, but I thought the best actor who played him was Mark Pelingrio. I believe that's how you say his name. And here he is explaining or defending his portrayal of the devil, of Lucifer, and defending Lucifer and his actions himself.
Okay, I didn't think you were going to actually justify Lucifer.
Oh, heck yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Come on, man. Okay. First of all, I almost never win any converts by my justification.
You're not going to, no.
Really?
I mean, it's Lucifer.
Okay.
He's
You're
literally
positive?
the devil.
You're positive. But what is the devil? The devil is all that's material, all that's in the world, right? There's a reason he hates mankind.
Okay.
Okay? The reason he hates mankind is because his father betrayed him for them. Now imagine if you lived your life in adoration of a person whom you thought the sun rose and set upon because they were so moral and just and good. And suddenly this person said, you are not of the stature that you believe you are. You're the angel of light, you're wise, you're good. Screw virtue. You have to now become a servant of this creature who is capable of tremendous evil, who's so far beneath you. Now you could say, well, Lucifer just felt, his pride was piqued.
Okay.
But I think he had a sense of justice, and that rewarding.
Now, here is where I disagree with Mark, because as it has been stated, that heroes and villains are created and forged the same way, through trauma and self-sacrifice. The difference is that heroes, when they're hurt, like Bruce Wayne or Superman, who lose their loved ones to bad guys or even good guys, their reaction is that they will fight like Michael did. But Michael did what he did because he didn't want this happening to anybody else, right? So the reason he fought his brother Lucifer was because he didn't want to see anything bad happen to anybody else like what had happened to him. Now, Lucifer, on the other hand, so what villains do when in the same situation, and it could go either way, like with Bruce Wayne or any of these heroes, but obviously the antagonists in all these stories, their reaction is, well, the world hurt me, so I'm going to hurt it back. Now, I know there's a fine line that you got to work, or, sorry, let me get back to the big head here. So I know that there's a fine line that you have to work through here, but obviously that is what I believe. So, so in terms of, so like I said, my favorite season is season 4. So let me know what is your favorite season. And in terms of the entire series, I believe that the best episode in the entire season would have to be, obviously for me, the introduction of Castiel, because it introduces the whole storyline. But there's other interesting clips here that I wanted to show you. So here's kind of God revealing himself well, actually, I'll show you one of my favorite scenes of Lucifer's, Mark Pellegrio playing Lucifer in the series, where he goes and kills all the pagan gods.
Checking in.
Lucifer, thanks for coming.
Oh, you did right calling me.
It's just the way the talk is heading in there. It's insane.
I never understood you pagans. You're such petty little things. Always fighting, always happy to sell out your own kind. No wonder you forfeited this planet to us. You are worse than humans. You're worse than demons, and yet you claim to be gods. And they call me prideful.
What's happening?
Doesn't matter. Shazam us out of here, would you?
We can't. Of course you can't. You didn't say Mother May I. Sam, Dean, good to see you again.
Balder, don't.
You think you own the planet? What gives you the right?
No one gives us the right. We take it. Lucy, I'm home.
Yeah, so that was one of my favorite episodes as well. I forgot to mention one of the other key actors and figures on the series is Bobby Singer, who's played by Jim Beaver. So I've got to give a shout out to him. But that's all I've got for this episode this week. So join me next week where I will review another movie, probably Tombstone, which is my favorite Western ever produced. And yeah, so I'll see you then next week. And thank you for joining me again for another exciting episode of Real Review. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're watching it on Rumble, please hit the Rumble button. Because it helps my algorithm. Okay, thank you again for joining me this week, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.